walking it. Oh, yeah, one hit it. I got him. Yeah. Oh, he got off. Oh, I had him. He was, hey, Pat was, the cameraman, Pat Turner, was following that frog. He was filming it, just I threw it in there. And we saw that fish come up and get the frog. And I had him on. Yeah, I don't think he's real big. I don't think, but I had him on for a while. Pulled him about 10 foot, and he got off. So, but anyway, it was kind of cool. It's hard to get a strike on camera sometime. I mean, it takes a lot of work to do that. But Pat Turner is a pro. I'm gonna tell you, he's bad to the bone.
Bent those hooks up, made a difference. If I can get him out of there. He busted something up in there. I've only got 20-pound test line on here. I got him though. It's because he's not a giant. Not a 4 or 5 pounder, but boy, that's a beautiful northern bass right there. Look at that bass. Golly. Look how barely I got him. Look how barely. And get that out of the way and show you something right here. Look at that. That's just how I barely got him. That's just how close he was to getting off. No way would I got that fish had I not bent those hooks out. That's a beauty. The one I lost a second ago was a lot bigger than that. Probably at least twice that size. When I said I bent those hooks out, I took my pliers. And got a hold of them down in here. Opened that up a little bit, both sides. Opened it up just a little bit. That'll also hang in the grass. You bring your fingers across there, see both of them will hang. So you can hang right there, you don't get them all across.
There's one. I got a frog bass.
That's nice one too there, isn't it?
I got a frog bass.
Isn't that a bigger one?
I got a frog bass.
I hope they start biting that frog.
I got a frog bass.
Because I got one to tie on if they do.
I got a frog bass.
I don't have any braided line though, is my problem.
I got a frog bass.
Oh, no, I thought it was a lot bigger than that.
Now we're talking.
That'll work, though.
That's it, frog bass. And I'll just explain the compliment. You know, it's much like Florida. You know, I'm an advocate of heavy braid. Dean Rojas, who created this Bronzeye Series frog, he advocates a 65-pound braid. I'm actually fishing a 50-pound braid. Up here, Will Wicks and some of the guys that fish locally do pretty good. You missed one, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it might have been a pike.
Really?
Yeah, I'm throwing it out to deeper water.
And with that, I'm throwing it on a big flipping stick. See, that's the whole deal with the frog. You need to really have some power. So I have a flipping stick, an 8-to-1 ratio reel. And when I set it up, when I really set up on them, what I do is I make a long cast. And here's the key. Getting that rod in where you can really set the hook. I got it on my side. I kind of just work it along.
That's actually a musky rod you use, isn't it?
Well, it's a big flipping stick, but a musky rod would work. But just basically having heavy tackle. Because I'm a power fisherman. I mean, I know you can finesse stuff, but you can't finesse a frog on a frog bite. That's not something you can do with spinning tackle and light line. You just can't do a frog anything less than 30-pound braid.
I like that 50 also.
Yeah.
I like 50.
50's good.
One of the keys to catching fish in a lake that you're not really familiar with, or even in a lake that you fish quite a bit, is find out the differences that are causing you to get a bite. And in other words, bass are a species of differences. They like something's different. In other words, in simple terms, if you had a lake that had a lot of logs in it, and only a few stumps, the bass are probably going to be on the stumps. You had a lake that had a lot of stumps and only a few logs, are going to be on the logs. A lot of grass, a few rocks. Now look for the differences. Look for things that are different. Now, you take a lake like we fished today, basically it's completely covered with lily pads all along the bank. There's no bank that's not covered with lily pads. So you have to start looking for differences. So as soon as you get a bite or you catch a fish, you look and note what's around that area. And then when you catch another one, and pretty soon you're going to find some differences in there. Now another thing that you want to do, now we caught fish on spinnerbait early this morning, then they just quit biting it. We switched over to a frog where we could talk them up out of these lily pads. And then we hit some periods of time, and you know, if you happen to watch this whole show, you'll notice we caught a lot of fish. Then we had to switch up and use our backup bait, which is a lucky creature. This is what this is right here. And we use a lucky creature when we miss a fish on a frog. We'll put that lucky creature right back in there behind it and catch it. But then we hit a period of time, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, could not get a bite. Could not get a bite. So we found the areas where we found a little bit of difference in the water, and the differences was that it came out and dropped off a little bit quicker. That little bit quicker drop off seemed to hold fish. There's certain areas where we caught them, and every time we go back there we get a bite. So now we're just simply concentrating on those areas, looking for that little different area there, and putting that worm right down in front of them. It seems like when they're not biting, they just have to drop it right on their head.
I got one.
Oh yeah.
I got a pretty good one.
Froggy fish.
I got him. Froggy fish.
Yeah.
I got him, son.
I saw him come up there and bust it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where you need that heavy
That's
line.
what we're talking about.
Big
Big
pole.
old frogfish. Big old frogfish, son. That's what the fun is. Now, I had to really crank on him to get him out. It was really a difficult kind of deal, but
nasty
a heavy line. Beautiful, beautiful flipping stick. A Spro 65 frog. This is that nasty shed one. And I'll cut the tail. One thing that Dean Rojas developed this from, and he cut those things down. He likes to cut 3/4 of an inch off.
Yeah. Got that one out of there. Got that one out of there, by golly. Better power pole down before I go 100 miles. In there, power pole down. Woo! They're just nice chunks. Go tell that 5-pounder how good that sugar was there, baby doll. Now, those fish are not very far back in. I think they're coming out toward the edge. That 2 or 3, my last 2 or 3 have been actually pretty close to the edge. Well, he come up there and ate it. He come up there and ate it. Power pole down. Look at him in that clear water. I mean, they're beautiful. Oh, nice fish. Nice fish. Well, I throwed my worm. I flipped my worm a while and got one bite. Lost him. Finally picked my frog back up. Bingo. Another nice bass. The reason I power pole down in these spots is a lot of times there's 3 or 4 around in an area, kind of a little bunch of them in an area. So you want to just kind of power pole down when you catch one. As soon as you catch one, and make several more throws in that area right there, because there might be 2 or 3 more fish right here close by. Oftentimes, now they're not schooled up, I'm not saying that, but oftentimes there'll be several fish in one little area for some reason. There might be more crawfish in there, might be more bait fish, more bluegill, something for them to eat. Might be some reason why a bunch of crappie in there feeding on something. You know, you just never know, but sometimes it's that way. Now, obviously, you do it a lot and you don't get another bite, but it's still worthwhile doing. I've been power pole down at a tournament at Grand Lake one time, an FLW tournament, and I throwed a spinnerbait up there and come by the end of a log, caught about a 4-pounder. Got back there and put it in the live well, power pole down, put it in the live well. Went to pull my power pole up, throwed it at the end of that log again, caught another 4-pounder, put it in the live well and called a fish. Throwed it at that log 4 or 5 more times, never got a bite. I got ready to power pole up and I threw right straight out in front of the boat and caught another 4-pounder. So I caught 3 4-pound fish, called 3 times because I had my power pole down. If I'd have just kept on going or let it drift in there, I'd have caught 1 fish.
Oh,
and
following me.
That sounded good.
That's what followed me. I said, I thought I saw the movement.
Yep, he followed you the first time, didn't he?
I came right back. And
That's what you call.
I was being observant. What I did,
That's
I threw
what
in
you
there
call
a couple casts ago.
Forcing them out.
And I said, I thought I saw a little wake. He didn't take it. And then just as I was reeling it in, then I said to Jimmy, I said, it's right about there. And bam, he blew up on it. Little
Boy,
one. But
you horsed that
just
one in.
being observant. You know, I wear a pair of good polarized sunglasses. I'm using the Ono series, I mean not the Onos, but the Flying Fisherman series. I use the Flying Fisherman series eyewear. Anyway, I'm just watching real close, and it looked like there was a little movement behind that frog. And on the second cast, he took it. Yeah.
He ate it good too, didn't he?
Yeah. Just a little movement.
He might start hitting that frog this afternoon.
He's got it. He's got it.
Did he get the worm?
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. If I just knew he'd hit the frog, and I backed him up with
Went back
Cinco.
and got him on the worm.
I got him on the worm.
That's a good technique. You got
Good
that worm on
technique.
big line too?
No, this is only 20-pound monofilament.
Yeah. Is there a
But-
bass in there?
There's a bass in there somewhere.
Yeah, there is a bass in there.
There's a bass in there.
That's
Back
a
up
bass.
Cinco time.
I
But
don't
he
know
hit
what
the
he's going to be
frog.
when he grows up, but he's
He
a
hit
bass
the frog
right now.
first, and I missed him. And I swam that worm back through there, and boy, that's the deal. We're catching a few fish, Jimmy. It's just not wide open bite yet. Kind of a little difficult.
I think
bite.
the north wind is part of it. North wind's the north wind. Doesn't matter if you're in Minnesota. They don't get used to it up here either.
Yeah.
When it blows out of the north, it slows the bite down. Okay, guys and girls, that is frog fishing right there. Make sure you have that backup bait, and make sure when that frog blows up on it, you hesitate for just a second. In fact, you can count to 3 if you want. Don't count to 3 like a Yankee. Count to 3 like a Southern boy. 1, 2, Earnhardt, set the hook. And if you miss him, throw that worm back in there. Throw that lucky creature back in there. See you later, and remember, I sure do love you.